turnovers in terms of the two of the past three games, y'all have had 20 plus. When you watch the film back, is there a common issue that you've seen that has led to that high rate? Is it people misreading, trying to go too fast on offense? Is it one big thing?
Um, I think turnovers are most of the time a lack of focus. I think being able to handle whether it's your emotions, whether it's the speed of the game, the pressure that's being applied. I mean, I think it's just a lack of focus at times, and I think the two games that you're referring to, we did have a lot of things that were playing into that, and we had a lack of focus, and we just did not take care of the basketball, which is disheartening because we have done a good job up until the last two of the three games taking care of the ball, and I think we will continue to. But I do think that we've got to just continue to really know where people are and know what we're trying to get, and we've got to just continue to trust the process of being disciplined in those moments that become a little bit more high pressured.
What challenge does Oklahoma pose for y'all?
Oklahoma has played a lot of games with a very few people. They had six on their in a couple of like three games in a row. So they have great, great chemistry, and they really understand where one person's going to be, who needs the basketball, how to get them open. And they spread the floor. They spread the floor, and they play at a pretty high pace when they are executing their offense. So the matchup is going to be difficult for us. Playing at a high pace on defense, we need to be able to control that for sure, and we've got to be able to get to shooters, and that's going to be off of different people. Like, we're going to have different matchups, and we're going to have to make sure in transition that when we match up with the biggest threat, and the most, I guess the quickest threat as they get the ball down the floor, that everybody needs to understand what could be happening, and they're going to have to get to shooters.
Krista, the other day, the Maddie Williams girl scored 45 points. What was your kind of takeaway from that, and how was she getting? What was working for her
Yeah.
on that day?
Yeah, Maddie is a great player. I've known her for a very long time, and she's just gotten better and better and better. She has a great hesitation move. She really wants to get to the rim, and she's very explosive and can jump up over people. She's just a very talented all-around player. I think they found something that worked in their one-on-one opportunities, and they just continued to go at that. I do think West Virginia plays man, and they're very athletic, and they pressure up on you. And I think that OU just found something that they really liked against West Virginia, and she was able to really put on a offensive show. I mean, there was no doubt about it. So we're going to have to play some team defense. We're going to have to really help on her. I mean, we can't allow one of our players to have to try to shut her down. It's going to have to be a unit and a team effort.
Seems like also in addition to her, a couple of their other top players are girls who have been there, who are returning
Right.
player. Does that make it any easier for your team to prepare for them?
Easier in the fact that they know them, harder in the fact that they have great chemistry. Like I said, I mean, they really understand how to play together, and they know where the other one's going to be. I mean, I think as you guys watch them, and as we've watched film, I mean, they make some passes at times to an open area, and then their teammate gets there because they know that they're going to be there. And that, to me, is just returners that have played a lot of basketball together, that really understand what the other one's going to do before they do it even. And so, I mean, they've got a lot of weapons. I don't know that it makes it easier for us. I think it makes it, we got to be more determined about it for sure.
How do you balance trying to help on Maddie Williams while also remaining cognizant of someone in Taylor Robertson who shoots over 40%?
Yeah,
And beyond the arc?
Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, they've got a couple. Like you've got to really kind of pick your poison at times. I mean, that's what happens when you play, in Big 12. I mean, you're going to have more than one weapon that you've got to be aware of. And so we're going to have to do a great job of helping when key players have the ball. We're going to have to do a good job of limiting Taylor Robertson's touches. I mean, that's every Big 12 coach's, plan. You've got to limit her touches because she's just such a lethal shooter. And then we've got to make sure we do a good job on the other players so that they don't have a career night, and they have other players that are very capable of scoring 20, 25. So, I do think, as we've already had to do, we'll have to mix some defenses up. We are not going to be able to just stick with one thing and try to get that done. We're going to have to continue to try to mix it up a little bit.
Vivian don't usually have bad night shooting, but when they do, is that something where you even have to say something to them, or are they pretty good about just mentally bouncing back the next day?
Well, they're very hard on themselves because they expect to do well and play well, and they put a lot of pressure on themselves for their team. They want to do that and perform for their team. So I think they're very mature in how they handle it. They know that they can't let it continue to weigh on them, because that's just going to affect the next game. They get in the gym extra and shoot, and we go back to work and try to help them get better shots. I think that's partly our job as well, is to make sure that we try to help them get better shots, so they're not having to force things up, and they can get some cleaner looks.
What did you attribute that offensive struggle to in the last game, to be up to 48 points?
Yeah, well, I think obviously Oklahoma State is very athletic, and they play very good defense. I think that we did not handle our emotions as well as we should have, as far as just the magnitude of that game, and all the other factors that were going into it. We just did not stay disciplined in what we were trying to do. And I think that's easier said than done, for sure. When you're on the road in the Big 12 and you're battling a very formidable opponent, you've got to really have some strong discipline and strong mental focus to battle a lot of elements. And I didn't feel like that we trusted it very well, and that is a tribute, I think, to not only the environment that we were playing in, but also the just having a new team. We just haven't played enough together to really trust what's coming next, and to know what's coming next, and to continue to work for good shots. So I thought we took some early shots that weren't the best shot that we could get, and when they didn't go down, I think we tended to panic a little bit.
Is there anybody in particular that maybe you've talked to about not necessarily stepping up when Vivian or Lexi aren't having great games, but I mean there are a handful of girls on this team that have scored a handful of points throughout the season. It just didn't seem like that was necessarily an option against Oklahoma State.
Yeah, well, I think it's got to be a group thing. I mean, I think we do have a couple of kids that can step up. I think we have several, but we've really got to work offensively and help each other score. And it can't, obviously we have to kind of have a priority in who touches that basketball and who we're trying to get shots for. But we've got to continue to trust that when we don't get the look that we're looking for, that there's another one coming. And so we've got to kind of stay true to what we're trying to do, and continue to try to screen better, harder, work harder to get open, make better passes, and not just take what we think might be the first available shot. And I just again, I feel like our kids are just learning. I mean, it's a long journey, and what we're trying to do in the last 5 months, of just trying to get this team together and unified, and learning a system and learning each other with new players, with new coaches. It's a process. I mean, it is a process, and it's a long season, and we've got to continue to just keep grinding. We have to get better every single day.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thanks, everybody.
One other question, Coach. You mentioned a moment ago that you said you'd known Maddie Williams for quite a long time. I guess since she's from the Metroplex and you coached in the Metroplex, did you recruit? Did you try to recruit her? Or,
yeah, of course we did. Yeah, to be quite honest, she was. I think UTA was her first offer when she was in the 8th grade because she came to our camp, and her high school coach was Tawana Flowers, who's from Levelland, who was a Lady Raider.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So great. Yeah, great family, great mom. She's really good friends with a lot of kids on our team, and we have a lot of connections with the OU girls.